Well, I first learned about the coronavirus via the TV, and it was just a virus in China, and it didn't seem to be all what the government led us to believe at the time. So nobody paid it any attention. We just go about our business as usual. When it finally hit us, it was absolutely deadly. It was contagious. There were no vaccine whatsoever. Nobody had any idea how it works, how it affects the body and immune system. So when the lockdown came upon us, it was absolutely awful, because I was in a large house all by myself, and I felt like a caged animal. I now know how the animals at the zoo feels when we peer in at them each time we go there, When I saw the amount of black people died in the forefront of the coronavirus, that the government here in the United Kingdom give a briefing every day, and I sat here I looked at it, and I thought, oh my God, the virus is even prejudice. It's taking black lives more than white ones. The protests all over the world it's made me realize that people want changes. All over the world, people realize that, black people have been done injustice for a long, long time, and they're fighting for what they want. Their right to be heard, the right to be recognized as a human being, regardless of their color or their creed or their sexuality. They want to be heard. And so we will continue to fight, but that fight will never have an ending. A new generation will come along and pick up where we left off and fight again, and another new generation will come. I know I'm not going to be around. I very, very much doubt that racism will ever die out as long as we have people of different colors. I remembered when I said to the career lady at school, I wanted to be to work in a lab in a hospital. She turned and said to me I would be very, very good at wrapping up stuff in Woolworths. That was my limitation, even though I was brighter than all the other children. Racism is still there, and you're never going to ever get rid of racism. I don't think it's ever going to be completely abolished. It's not overt like how it was, blatantly into your face, but it will be always there, subtle. However, so now every child has the opportunity, if he or she wants, to go on to university, go to a secondary school, go on to a university and achieve. It is there for them to take. It's not going to be handed down on a silver platter. You have to work for it. If you look at today's issue, and we're in the 21st century, how many black are directors of top organizations? None. But we don't want them to pick somebody up of a color and just plonk it in. We want that person to be there because they earn it and they work jolly hard, and that will give the incentive of young people who are coming up saying, if they can do it, I can do it, and I can do it through education, because the pen is mightier than the sword. And if you look at that young lad of today, Marcus Rushford, he didn't go out and fight or anything like that. He wrote to the Prime Minister and said, look, feed the hungry, feed the poor people, right? They can't afford it. They were earning. Corona has made it worse. Feed them. Give them free vouchers for food over the summer. And his pen has achieved, and that will go down in history as a black 22-year-old guy got this government during coronavirus to change their attitude towards the poor. So that is how we're going to achieve, by being great. Now, they always quote what my grandmother said, by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread, and if you work hard, you shall achieve.
I really thought, UK, we would be safe. It wouldn't affect us, really. It's something that's going to just come quickly, and as it came, it's going to disappear. There was so much panic around, in buying, people going out and buying stuff. You walked down that aisle and it was totally empty. Totally empty. I arrived in Asda one day, and I saw a little old lady, and she just stood there and looked from the top of the aisle to the bottom. She shook her head, and she said, I can't believe this. I can't believe that this is happening in England. That scene really struck home to me, to realize, wow, yeah, this is England, and it is real, and it is happening. I had some days, so I had time to reflect, that sort of a panicky feeling I had. I just kept praying to God. I kept saying, God, we know that you're in control of all of this, and you are with us, and you are going to see us through all of this. But I also remembered my daughter, Janae, just before the lockdown. I said, what did you think about all of this, Janae? And she turned and she said, Nan, I think the world is tired. And this is the way I think God is speaking to us. And it's time for us to give the environment breathing space, the animals, and even ourselves, for us to reflect. And during all of this, things are going to be very still. I came here in 1962. The August 1962, and Jamaica had given her independence. And we experienced a lot of name calling. We were called all the names under the sun. You would see on the door or on the window, no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. That's what you would actually read on as you walk by. And so as a child, we experienced a lot of racism. To me, Black Lives Matter, but I personally feel that all lives matter. As a Christian, we value every life. And to me, God doesn't see color, He sees people. My father used to always point out to me, the flowers and things like that. You see, all those beautiful flowers, they are all different color and shape and size. We should mingle together and get along together, and that's how we should, as people and human beings, get along together. During this time, I've really discovered that people are not as selfish as I thought. My neighbors have been absolutely, I can't find the word to express how thankful I am to my neighbors. They have come here, do you need anything? That, and if you're not able to get out, we'll do your shopping, we'll pick this up for you. We will, whatever you want, just tell us. Our lock went on our door. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need to find out if anybody around here could fix the door for me, So I went up the road. I saw a big van, a guy who does double glazing. He must know about lock. So I knocked on his door, and I said, excuse me, but I hope you don't mind me asking, but my lock on the door is gone. Would you mind if you could come down and have a look at it for me. He came and did the door, and I said, I need to give you something. How much do I owe you? Oh, no. This is what neighbors is about. And in this time that we're living in, we need to help each other. I don't want anything at all from you. It's a pleasure for me to do this, and this is how we should live as a community. But it takes this to bring, the good out of people. I think it should be like this all the time, us looking out for each other. The future, I would like to see a brighter future for us and our children and our grandchildren, praying that God will return and make this world a better world for us, where we're not going to be struggling with racism and war and all the terrible things that we see going on. But while we wait patiently for God's return, we have to just do the best we can in our own little corner, make the world a better place where we are, reach out to people, do what we can for mankind.
The monastery didn't know anything about the convent, and that, this thing was coming at us, and they were just like rabbits caught in the headlight. They were just staring, watching the news, and thinking, "Oh, that's all right. It's in China. Oh, that's all right. It's in Italy. Oh, that's all right." As far as we know, I didn't think anybody was really prepared for the severity of this thing. I think in this country, sometimes we think we're immune for a lot of things, but we're just a small part of the real world. In the midst of the coronavirus, which is bad enough, and then we're suddenly faced with this incident that brings about Black Lives Matters. When you think about the fact that ethnic minorities seem to be suffering disadvantageously from the coronavirus, and it just seems to be underlined by the fact that in places, America, and also in this country, although in slightly different ways, people of color are treated really throughout history, dragged out of places like Africa as slaves, prisoners. What didn't happen was slavery did not end. And then even after the slavery was abolished, then there is this deal about reparation. The plantation owners were compensated, but the slaves weren't in any way, shape, or form compensated. They ended up having to go back to the plantation owners to work for them, but they had to find food and everything. The cotton, the sugarcane, and people like in Europe and in this country benefited from it. So when you get to a stage that where is it that it really has ended? When someone is committed a crime, in which case this man that was killed in America, one of many, I must say, he didn't actually do anything wrong. He just pulled over to do some check. They showed you the latest video of it, and it was sickening to be honest with you. It's just gone underground. Yes, you don't get shot like you do it in America, so liberal, but the pressure is still there. And one of the unfortunate things about it is the situation is there are lots of genuinely good people in the world, but what we're talking about is this social injustice. And yes, when you think that there are a lot of white people who are really good to colored people, and some are in sympathy with some of the treatment that colored people are going through. But that causes its own problem in a strange way, because then the colored person I find that a lot of them seem to be afraid of speaking out against some action carried out by other whites, because they don't want to offend that white person who have been nice to them or who is more genuine. So you've got two crosses to bear. You've got your cross to bear, and you've also got another cross to bear, because you've got to defend that white person, and also you've got to withdraw or stop yourself from saying things which may upset them, or they may take the wrong way. You see, and this has gone on throughout history. When you think of the motto of Jamaica, the national motto, it's out of many, one people, you know. And that's basically what it is. That's what the world should be thinking about. We're all on planet Earth. We all, in our interaction, we all affect each other in some way. COVID did one thing. It's woken people up, and I hope they do take the lesson on board. It had made mankind, it had made the world realize just how vulnerable it is. We've got to stop being so complacent to think that we're the best in the world, end of story, and we don't have to try yet. We must try even harder to ensure that the important thing, i.e. the human factor, is well looked after. Because that's what's important. The fact that we're all vulnerable. Don't take life and situation for granted. And do not think that because you live in a society which is quite affluent, that you cannot be touched by world situations. So I think it's a wake-up call for not just this country, but the entire
When you heard about a possible lockdown, how did you feel?
I like to be up and down. I like to hold running, moving. Yeah, that did get to me a little. Your children and grandchildren, they can't come to visit you and all them kind of thing, like, you know, so. But you think what bothers me a lot is when they close the church as well, like, you know, so I said, yeah, this is serious. I don't think it got people more affected by the virus, because we got more white people than black people. They put those black people, those doctors and nurses, they put them in the most, I think, what should I say, in the most,
So do you think it's that black people are placed in a more vulnerable position?
Yeah, yes, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
My name's Minette Douglas. I'm from Jamaica. I came to this country in 1961. It was very, very cold. I would say the houses, they were like how I would imagine factories in Jamaica, because this smoke coming out from the chimney, and comparing to Jamaica, which was sunny, open, and happy. I remember when I was working in the NHS, and at the time you could ask for job for people. It's not like now you got to go online, or you know, you could just if there's a vacancy on the ward, then you could ask the manager or the matron for job for friends or family. And I remember asking for a friend. Interview come, and I asked my friend how did it go. She didn't get the job. So I said, okay. While the person, the ward manager was, you know, we were not close, but, you know, we talk, we laugh, you know, we're always on good terms. And he promised that he would give the job to my friend. Anyway, the person who got the job, it was a white girl, nothing wrong with that. But when I say to the manager, oh, my friend didn't get the job, to somebody who's more experienced. So, okay, fair enough. And when this new girl came on the ward, one day I said to her, oh, so where you worked before? They took the person with experience. She said, oh, I never worked in hospital before. I never worked as a nurse before. And that really gets me. That really upset me. So I confronted, I challenged my ward manager, and I call him a racist. You tell a lie. You didn't have to take on my friend, but why tell a lie to say this person had experience and she never worked in a hospital setting before? So this is where I just think that was racism, and I did get into trouble because I confronted him and I called him a racist. And you don't call a person a racist until you got proof, but that was good enough for me to call him a racist. The thing is, I don't know how me personally could make a difference, because I know that the black race hasn't or still isn't being treated fairly. I think somebody needs to stand up now, and I'm happy that there is other race that is supporting the blacks to do it. And the only thing is, we don't want to be patronized, honestly. Not to be patronized. But I think something may come from it. Maybe not what, we hope, but, a little bit at a time, that will be good. Yeah, and as I said, that people will look into themselves and see the unfairness, to see that white people is supporting, the blacks to protest against the unfairness. It's good. It's a good sign.
I wasn't quite sure what this coronavirus was like. I just didn't know what to think, because it's not like the ordinary flu or whatever that used to take place every year. Nobody seems to know what it is and what causes it or whatever. Although the lockdown didn't bother me at all, because I thought to myself, well, whatever step is needed to be taken to stave off any disaster, then by all means, you just go with it. With this endemic, the lockdown, places closing down, what we're going to have is a lot of people out of work, and how are they going to cope with life? So whatever causing all these protesting and so on, it's been going on for how many years, I said? About 400 years, something like that. Now, the lockdown prevents people like myself to take part in these things, but the George Floyd thing and all that business. But when things like that happen, sometimes I ask myself, I've got a bit of the Christian faith myself, but where is the Christian faith among people that's supposed to lead them in the path of righteousness? Where is it? And why is it not practiced? Because, whatever that chap
had in his mind to do to the man in America. It's a pity he couldn't think again to say, oh, we're all God's children. Now, what we're experiencing today is different from the time when we came. The people did not know us. We did not know them. They did not know our capability, what we're able to do. And because of that, there's always a bit of a standoff. Now, over the years, things change. We prove ourselves to be more or better than what we were expected to be. We were all brought up in a Christian society in the West Indies. When we came to this country, we were expected to be treated as one of the brotherly Christian persons. Of course, remember, religion introduced to us from this country. So whenever you leave the colony and come to the mother country, you're expecting the mother to receive you and treat you as one of their very own. Sadly, it was slightly different. The young people will say, your days was different, and it is true. When you think of the youngsters coming through the education system, we're talking about here now, some have achieved, they want equal opportunity, but are they getting equal opportunity? That's a big issue. If it's not happening, you will not have any changes, because you could get all the degrees you possibly can get. But then at the end of the day, you apply for a job, they look at you and you thought, well, the job is just gone, or, whatever. Like in the usual, what it used to be in earlier years. What the youngsters are seeing now, it's staring them in the face day by day. Sometimes I ask myself, what is the right step to take to change things? And sometimes you think whatever you're doing may be the right thing, but is it always the right thing? I'm one of them persons who, sometimes you can be going out there, you can sense there is a problem there, but you don't stop to stumble over it. You carry on because you got one determination to achieve something, and no matter what comes in your way, you're going to do so. As one lady said to us some years ago, she came over here from Jamaica, she said, well, the lads are talking about equal opportunity, but as far as she's concerned, forget about the equal. Just get an opportunity and she will make something of it. No, that's my policy. Just give me an opportunity and I will make something of it. And I tell you the truth, throughout my working life, that's what I've done. And I must tell you, from my employments, I have to say I walk out of every one of them with my head held up high. Sometimes it is good to have patience, determination, and courage. Those qualities will help you through life.